Despite online harassment, tomorrow Drag Queen Story Hour will go on for one local shop.
Now, you may remember on the first day of this Pride Month, an order from the Pentagon led to the cancellation of a drag show at Nellis Air Force Base. Tonight, the Arts District store tells Fox 5 they refuse to bow to outside pressure. Their event will move forward.
Exposing our children to things like drag is so important.
This shop is filled with Pride merchandise, not just during Pride Month, but all year long. For the Love LV shop owner Emily Johnson says hosting Drag Queen Story Hour here is meant to teach children about creativity, diversity, and to love everyone.
We knew that doing a story hour with a drag queen would probably get a little bit of pushback. We did not expect to get quite the aggression that we ended up getting.
Johnson says when a group learned of the upcoming event featuring Honey Davenport, a contestant from season 11 of RuPaul's Drag Race, they left negative feedback on her shop's social media page.
We reached out to this group and said, hey, we'd love to have a conversation with you, but we're not going to debate on an online, like a social debate. So that group actually came into the store.
It was not a constructive conversation. The group then made more negative posts.
Just harassment. It was just very, very unkind, untrue.
Johnson believes the negativity stems from misunderstanding.
If you've been to a drag show in like a bar, that is one setting for a drag show, right? And I think the biggest misunderstanding here is this is not that setting. This is a kid-friendly setting. So the costume, the book, the atmosphere is all going to be very kid-friendly.
Johnson hopes clarifying what will happen at the event will ensure their safety and prevent further pushback because canceling is not an option.
We think it's important to continue because we still have the same message we wanted to get out in the first place. I want to teach my children to love well and to love diversity and love people that are different than them. And so we're going to still do that.
And the Drag Time Story event is set for 4 p.m. tomorrow evening at the For the Love LV store in the Arts District.